Coming up in just a moment, it's MELDON Law Monday. I'm Buddy Martin. The program starts in just a few seconds. Shane standing by in the orange and blue room. We'll have some different guests tonight. You'll recognize them. Fran's Beard at the basketball game. We'll check in later. I'll give you an updated score. And guess who the Gator football team wants to come back? I'll tell you about that. Stand by. It's Monday. The Buddy Martin Show is on the air. MELDON Law Monday. Tell your friends and neighbors.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Hello, welcome to a Monday edition of the Buddy Martin Show. We're here with you Monday through Thursday and Sunday mornings with Orange and Blue Bloods. Tonight, our special host, a good friend, also the voice of the Gators, did an excellent job this past weekend. I listened to he and Sean and play-by-play. If you're not doing it, you need to get that synced up so you can hear Shane and Sean doing their thing on the radio because it's so superior to anything those guys put out through the network. So, on the program tonight, standing by, we'll have Fran's Beard a little later in the show because he's covering basketball. Halftime score, I know Shane's probably listened to it as I am. 38-22 Gators. Castleton had a big night over Stony Brook, which is expected. So, more about that. And Nick Delatorre will join us tonight. Nick is a versatile reporter and writer for On 3. He does a lot of baseball as well as other sports, and we'll get his take on a few of the things about recruiting, which we're hearing. We're always hearing, we never know. But right now, a quick word from Jeffrey Meldon on MELDON Law, and then the guy who does color for the Gator broadcast, my friend Shane Matthews.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since MELDON Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At MELDON Law, we won't back down.
MELDON Law, the official law firm partners of the Florida Gators, now to the Orange and Blue Room. The star of the show, and the show called Pot Up with Matthews, Shane Matthews. What's up, Shaner? I'm going to put your volume up here in a minute. We might be able to hear you. I listened to the game on Saturday. By the way, I have a brand new jersey here. I bought it to put number 37 on it, but I didn't get the 37 on there in time. So
we can get that. We'll get that taken care of.
You got that kind of stuff, don't you? Yeah,
Dude,
I know.
That blew up the entire second half of the show.
I know it did. I tried to save you, get you in to get Dope Walker in there for you. Yeah. So, So
by the way,
we got that. You didn't have any idea a little small thing like that would be so big, did you?
I did not.
Yeah. Well, tell me about it. It was I don't know if you've gone to A&M before. Maybe you have, McCall Field. Tell me what your experience was like. I never got the feel of how many people were there. It looked like it was a good-sized crowd, but I saw some empty seats. And then we get to the game, which I know it wasn't Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee and all the big games that were going on, but significant thing happened in that game, and I think even you were impressed with what you saw. But don't let me put words in your mouth. So talk to me about Kyle Field and talk to me about the game.
Well, there was over 99,000 there. There was only a handful of. I mean, that place is unbelievable. I don't know how else to say it, but I've been to every SEC campus, seen all their facilities. It is clearly the best facility. Not just I'm just talking about all the sports facilities. I've never seen so much money thrown around as that place. It's a unique place. If you've never been, you've got to go. All the different traditions and things that they do during the course of the game. I was busy videotaping most of the broadcast while I was talking. It's just interesting, but they got serious problems at A&M right now. I'll tell you that they're not. I mean, they're missing some players, but they are not a good football team. But it was a good win for the Gators. Billy's first win on the road. Best game I thought the entire team has played all year long. Yes, and I think they played better than they did against Utah, quite honestly. So we'll see. You know, they got an opportunity to win the next three, close strong, but you got to find a way to beat South Carolina Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, those things don't mean a lot unless you add on to them. But you're right, and I want to get your take on this, Shane. We kind of started blue sky and dreaming a little bit. Myself and Ben Troop and Lauren on our Sunday Orange and Blue Buzz broadcast. And we said, okay, let's dream it. Pick a bowl. What's the best they could do? And I'll ask you that question. And if they do go 8-4, which now looks like it's possible, we'll see. But it looks like it's possible because this is the game that I worry about. FSU now, of course, being ranked. But again, you lose to the three of the top teams in the nation, and so with 8 wins, this team looks more attractive than the average 8-win team. What's the best they could expect in a bowl?
I have not looked at the bowls. I would think if we get to 8-4, we'll be at one of these bowls in the state of Florida. I know a lot of people would like for us to go to that Las Vegas Bowl, which has tie-ins to the SEC now. But South Carolina's not very good, buddy, quite honestly. Their record is 6-3, but I think out of 4 of those wins are just awful football teams, not even Power Fives. Vanderbilt's not good, so you should win those 2 games. Florida State is an improved team. They're about like us, quite honestly. But playing at home and at their place.
Doak Campbell, not Doak Walker.
Yeah, Doak Campbell. I want to say Doak Walker. Doak Campbell could be difficult, but look, I said if we won 7 games, it'd be a great year, and I still believe that. You win 8, it's going to be I won't say a phenomenal year, but I think Billy has done everything he can do with his team. They're playing well together. The locker room is a lot better now, and senior day. There's not a whole lot of seniors. I don't know who all is participating in the festivities, but senior day is always very emotional and somewhat sad, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't know who else might be going. You're not sure about what other players. Yeah, so I mean, the facilities look great. The coach sucks. I mean, that's kind of how it looks. This is not his first year there now. Let's remember that, okay?
No, so. I will say this. If they ever get a really good football coach there, maybe a young and up-and-coming guy who can bring some energy. I mean, for a team that was 3-5 or whatever they were when we got ready to play them, I could not believe how many people were in that stadium. So they support their team there. But from a facility standpoint, nobody in America can compete with them.
Yeah, well, they paid $85 million. They paid $100 million for a coach that can't win. So I think it'd be I think Florida fans would be revolting. So, but let me stop right there and say, let me talk a little bit about Anthony Richardson. I mean, what I saw there on Saturday was a quarterback who is learning to play the game. And as we were talking over the weekend on our show, someone said, well, we need to get another quarterback. The 60-yard run he made, those aren't falling off the back of turnip trucks, And the athleticism, I know there's some feeling that, well, let him go play pro ball, whatever. But there's some people who think maybe the guy ought to come back, and his teammates are asking him to. here today was, I have a soundbite which I won't play. This is what they posted today. That's from Montrell Johnson's quote. He's going to be great. We need him back another year. Now, I don't know what will happen. I don't know the money he'll be offered. Most likely he would take it. But I also presented this scenario recently, which I talked to you about. If they really wanted him, go get some of that NIL money and get him a nice big $30 million insurance policy. So if he gets hurt, he could retire and never play and get $30 million in the bank. Now, that's just one side of it. But the quarterback I saw made a substantial improvement in it. He made some mistakes, yes, he did. But the gift that he has, athleticism, Shane, you of all people who played the quarterback position at a very high level know what they've been facing around here until Trask came along. It's been 10 years of nothing burger at quarterback, and now they got a guy. Now, is it practical for him to do that? I don't know. Maybe it's not. And I would understand why, if he got his $25, $30 million, whatever he gets to go, why he'd take it. But there's some people who are starting to say, hey, Anthony, we need you to come back.
Yeah, but he ain't gonna care about that. He's gonna go pro, buddy. I mean, he's gonna be a first round pick. You have to go. That's just my personal opinion. I thought it was the best game he's played as a Gator. He made some really good throws. He made some good runs. Had a bunch of mistakes, but that's fine. But that was the most he's ever looked in control in a game. I do not think he comes back, though.
Okay, fair enough. But they're asking him. We'll see what happens.
Well, here's the thing. It's not like he's thinking about going to play at some other high school. I mean, you're talking about going to be a professional
I get it. But maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's not ready to do that.
Everybody's ready. I mean, he may just because he goes into the draft and get drafted in the first round doesn't mean he's going to be playing.
I got it.
What he's going to be becoming a professional. He doesn't have to go to class. Mm-hmm. Football is his job, and yeah, of course his teammates want him back. I mean, the last thing you want to hear them say is, "We want you to leave the program." But I don't. Do I think he's ready to play in the NFL? Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean he doesn't go pro. I mean, there's plenty of guys that go to the NBA that ain't ready. There's a lot of guys that get drafted in the first round that don't play. I mean, Kyle Trask was as ready as anybody to go to the NFL. He ain't dressed out one time in 2 years. So
playing behind a goat, though.
Right, but he doesn't even dress, is my point.
Yeah.
But I think Anthony will be a first round draft pick, and I think he will go.
Yeah. Couple comments on Facebook. Someone says, I don't know who it is, this is a Facebook user, I'm trying my best to get Shane to tutor AR.
Oh, somebody asked me. Look, I can't teach him anything different than Billy Napier's a damn good quarterback coach. I mean, the guy played quarterback himself at the collegiate level. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I thought he called a really good game Saturday. I really had no problems with what he's been doing, but fans do, because fans think every play is supposed to score a touchdown. It don't work that way, people. But Anthony, his biggest thing is consistency and processing information. We all know he's got God-given ability, but there's more to the position, and the consistent play is where he needs to. That's what needs to be addressed. Can it happen? I don't know, because we've been through the course of the year where we'll say, boy, he looked good. He's getting better. And then the next week, he kind of takes a step back, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But I thought he played his best game by far Saturday.
Yeah, before we leave the subject, we'll talk about the defense and talk about what the halftime speeches that everybody's talking about. Ventrell Miller saying that the coaches and the players, they got on people, tough love. And that was a game where they scored, 20? Then second half could have scored 40 if they had cashed in. So we'll see what happens. But I must say this, Shane. You're a practical man, Shane. You always break it down, like this is what it needs to be and so on. I'm a dreamer, and I think a lot of our fans are dreamers, okay? And to me, if you're going to go into it with a big dream. And if you see the dream, if you don't see it, then that's different. If you see the potential, I like to think, what's the best we can expect? Let me give an example. Talk about bowl games. We talked about with Ben and Lauren over the weekend. I said, tell me the bowl game you think they could go to if they won out, and and lost to 3 top 10 teams and one team that's ranked when they got beat. And they named. I said, I got one for you. How about? And you're gonna laugh when I say it. How about Florida goes to the Gator Bowl and plays Clemson?
I mean, that could happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we get to 7 or 8 wins, you're going to be playing probably in the state of Florida in a bowl game. I don't know who the Gator Bowl takes. I know they take an SEC team, but I can't remember. I mean, Clemson could be a possibility.
I mean, they're going south there, and what they got? They're going to make it playoffs. And you got the Orlando Bowl, the Tampa, whatever that is. Did the Outback go out of business? Are they still there?
No. It's called something else now.
Okay.
So it has
All
a
right.
title sponsor.
Okay.
So you still have the game in Tampa,
Orlando.
You actually have 2 games in Orlando.
Yeah.
And then you have Jacksonville. So I think if Florida gets to 7 wins, they'll be in one of those games, is my guess.
Well, I'd bill it as the last chance to see Anthony Richardson play. Watching him play, he's going to be on an NFL team next year. Come and see him play in the Gator Bowl. Anyway, that's my dream. I think that would be terrific. I also understand the fans wanting Anthony to come back, and I kind of would like to see it too. But hey, I also understand if he doesn't, and it wouldn't be smart. It wouldn't be smart to do it. But on the other hand, sometimes you do things because they just have a little sizzle to them. So. All right, tell me about the defense. This defense, which was awful in the first half, couldn't stop my grandmother.
They weren't awful. They played about how they played all year long.
But, I mean, they couldn't make a stop. They were getting a punt. But my point is they did in the second half. And they made some adjustments. Yeah. They flew to the ball. They made plays. What I saw, tell me if I'm wrong, I saw them putting pressure on the quarterback. Finally. Sending
if you listen to Billy at halftime, we had tremendous pressure on Haynes King the whole day, but we couldn't get to him.
Yeah,
we were there. We had the right calls, but nobody was making plays. Yeah. They got to him in the second half. I mean, they have 2 really good wide receivers. I mean, elite receivers.
Yeah.
Bruce Muhammad.
Yeah.
And the number 1, I can't remember his name, but they're big time receivers. And I thought the defense played well all day. I know people were upset. If you look at the first series of the game, we had A-Chain stopped. He was just the best player on the field in reverse field and outran everybody. So when I talk to people, it's no different than, so buddy, let me ask you this, or all your listeners. When Anthony threw the touchdown pass to Jaquavian Frazier's, Was it bad defense?
It was a perfect touch pass.
Okay, well, my point is, if that had happened on a Gator defender, one of our cornerbacks, people would be bitching, complaining about our defense. Okay, it was perfect coverage by the Aggie defender,
but a better throw and a better catch.
It was a perfect throw and a one-handed, unbelievable catch.
Jaquavion started to show a little bit. I like him. He's a big, tall guy.
Look, I said this on my show, and I said it on Steve's show today. Justice Shore is a good player. But when we were able to put Caleb Douglas on the field and Frazier's got more action, we look way more athletic at the wide receiver position.
I agree. And that kid, and that Frazier's he's like a 4.0 student too, He's a smart guy. One of the Scott Banley finalists of the Ocala Quarterback Club. From down in Florida. You seem like you really kind of enjoyed the game. You're very upbeat in your approach to things, you and Sean. It's so much better when you can hear and watch a game and know what's going on. Even the simplest things, like a play-by-play, trying to get down the distance off of TV is a pain in the butt. When you're keeping your play-by-play, I can get the play-by-play off the sheet, but they don't tell you anything. They're more interested in doing promotions on RG3 and the horses, whatever. Drives me crazy. So, anyway, apparently you had a good show today, according to Michael Burton.
Yeah, I feel like we have good shows all the time. We try to
Especially on Tuesday
bring-
mornings, you have great shows.
Yes, there's no question about it.
And when Michael says congratulations. All right, so South Carolina. Florida's a 9-point favorite. You said you're a very bad, not a
They're
good
not.
team.
They're not a 6-3 good. They're not a good 6
They're not.
3.
You see, they beat them. They're many quality wins. So they play South Carolina. I've said all along, I'm not impressed with South Carolina or Kentucky. Everybody's been trying to sell me those teams. And I don't like them. I didn't like them then. I think I'm going to be right on that. But I mean, look, this team could win 8 games, like you said. 7 would be a really great season. 8 would be. You said you won't say phenomenal, but what will you say? Remarkable, outstanding, what?
Yes, outstanding is a good word,
okay.
and I think they'll be 7-4 when they go to Tallahassee, with an opportunity to beat those guys. I just, with all, it's like we said, buddy, all summer long, we all knew this was going to be a rough year, and again, I think people need to look at this coaching staff. The way they recruit, the way they evaluate talent, the best players on our football team right now are people that they are responsible for bringing to the University of Florida. And that should give you a positive outlook for the future.
What would they do with those Louisiana boys? They'd be in trouble for sure.
Well, think about it. Osiris Torrance today was SEC Lineman of the Week.
Yeah.
ETN, tremendous freshman running back. Montrell Johnson,
100-yard game.
Tremendous running back.
Yeah.
And then you look at Ricky Pearsall, what he's brought to the program. And then some of the young guys on defense, Chris McClellan, those type of guys that are in this draft class.
Yeah.
These guys, they know talent, and it's just gonna take some time. And you gotta have about 50 to 60 of those kind of guys to have an elite program. That it pains me to say it, but Georgia ain't going nowhere for a long time.
That's true. What do you think of Jeff Scott getting fired today?
I'm not surprised. What they win 4 games in 3 years?
4-26, Shane. I could do better than that.
Yeah, that's not good. So, that's a really good job. The biggest problem South Florida has, in my opinion, not having an on-campus facility. They need a little small stadium like UCF has.
Yeah.
But you should be able to get, 3-star, whatever kind of talent. I don't want to call them the leftovers from the big boys, but there's enough talent around the state of
Tweeners,
Florida.
those 3 stars, whatever.
You should be competitive, and they just haven't been very competitive recently. Now
Yeah.
they played their tails off against us in the swamp this year, but I don't know who they're going to hire.
I heard Gruden's name today, which I'd be really surprised to see that happen.
Well,
I know he's a Tampa guy.
They want to roll the dice and have a guy. He wants to probably get back into coaching. It's just, does he want to coach a bunch of 17 to 22-year-olds?
Shane, you'd be one of the older head coaches around today. These guys are 25 years old, for crying out loud. The babies out there.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
I'm way too old to get into that.
And you could do it. No question, the age wouldn't stop you.
I wouldn't want to have anything to do with recruiting.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Not a damn bit. I would not want anything.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to kiss the butts of those kids, I know. But that's what it takes, Shane. All right, I apologize over the weekend to Brian Kelly. And all the things I said, I wrote a tweet saying he went from buffoon of the year to comeback coach of the year in one season. And what he has done, and this team is so talented. We realize now what we were seeing when Florida played them. The speed and the power and the size those guys got. And Kelly's got their attention. He's coaching them. And, boy, they played awful good. And people are shocked. I'm not. I thought LSU might be Alabama. There's no telling how good this LSU team could be.
They're good. Alabama is not the Alabama.
I get
Alabama
it.
Alabama could be 5-4 right now if you think about it.
Yeah.
They won on the last play of the game against A&M and the Texas game. So but they could have won them all as well. LSU's a great story. You know, I think it all stems around their quarterback, Jaden Daniels. He's playing
fantastic.
Extremely high level,
Yeah.
throwing the ball accurate. But boy, when you talk about a runner, now that dude is maybe one of the fastest guys in the league.
He really is.
I mean, he was just outrunning everybody on the Alabama defense. So it was a big win for them. I don't think they stand a chance to play when they play Georgia, but we'll see.
I'm not so sure about that. I think they match up better than most people.
No, buddy, listen. Everybody thought Tennessee was
I
going to win that
didn't.
game.
I didn't.
Well, I didn't either. I said
I thought LSU was going to win it. Georgia's going to win it too. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying that they can be. No, they won't, because physically they can stand up to it, and and so Stetson Bennett, he's a game little guy, but anyway, we'll want to worry.
He's a really good football player.
Yes, he is. He certainly is. But boy, Brian Kelly's done a hell of a coaching job, without a doubt, for sure. All right, Shane, I'm gonna give you this top 10 here, AP. And I want you to tell me what you see. There it is, right there. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee is 5. Oregon, LSU, USC, UCLA, and Alabama. What do you think of it? Your thoughts?
Well, we'll see when it comes out tomorrow. I mean, Ohio State and Michigan play each other, so that'll work itself out. USC still has to play Oregon. That'll work itself out. And then USC and UCLA play each other.
Well, you're talking
TCU,
about this is the AP top 10. It's just out. What tomorrow is going to be the committee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't. I guess that's a good one. If there's Georgia, then there's everybody else, in my opinion.
But you got to have a 2, 3, and 4.
Well, I would put Ohio State, Michigan, and probably put what they got right there, TCU at 4. Although TCU's got some hard games ahead, I think they will lose eventually. I think Tennessee has a chance to make the 14 playoff by not even being in the SEC title.
Well,
game.
Ohio State and Michigan, one of them's going to lose. So
that's what I said. One of them's going to lose. Oregon has to still play USC. USC still has to play UCLA. So all that will work itself out. So, there's still a lot of football to be played. But Tennessee probably sits the best out of all of them because they don't have to play anybody else.
Yeah, they don't. What were you surprised that that Georgia dominated like they did?
No, not one bit. I picked Tennessee, Georgia to win by 17 or more. Georgia fell asleep at the wheel in the second half, in my opinion. When the rain started pouring, kind of got away from their offense. I just thought physically the line of scrimmages, Tennessee would not be able to match up.
All right, so when you assess the competition and who they've lost to, given the fact they didn't play their best football, obviously, and what could be for this team if they won 8 and if they won 9 games. We said 7 was a really great season. 8 is it? What would 9 wins be, Shane?
9 wins would be one of the
charts.
best coaching jobs I've ever seen.
Yeah. What has Billy done differently?
Nothing. He stuck to his plan from day one.
Mm-hmm.
We played it. Look, I'm not going to take anything away from the win because I was so happy for those kids to win. A&M is awful, buddy. They're the worst team that we have played in the SEC so far this year.
Okay.
That's what my eyes tell me that. Now, They were missing players. I don't know when they get those players back. I don't even remember what positions were missing. Obviously, Haynes King was the backup who played in this game because the true freshman was sick, but he's really a starter. So I was so surprised at how bad A&M was, especially and they didn't look prepared. It was like they didn't practice.
Well, this happens. They don't look like they're a very committed football team. And I'll say this, maybe Florida's not that good, But I saw something in that team in the third quarter in Georgia. We talked about it. I saw a resolve to go in there and fight, get it back to a one-score game. I told you at the time, I said, this gives me hope for the future. And then at halftime, and let's be honest, they went to the halftime not in good mental spirits. They were not only trailing, but Billy took 3 timeouts with him in his pocket.
No, all right.
What?
I'm gonna explain to you what happened. Okay, we get the ball back with 2:23 left.
Right.
3 timeouts.
Yeah.
Okay. We try to take a shot downfield.
Right.
It's covered. Anthony does a good job getting to his third receiver, who was Xavier Henderson, right on our bench.
Mm-hmm.
He throws it about 12 feet over his head, out of bounds.
So
if he completes the ball, he runs for a minimum 15 to 18 yards and gets out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have your 2-minute drive going. So then we run the football, I believe, get stuffed. A&M calls timeout. Then we drop back, incomplete pass. We punt it. They go score. We get it back for a minute. Okay, we get a delay of game because the officials didn't reset. Anthony didn't notice it. Get a delay of game.
Yeah.
1st and 15. We call zone play to the left, outside zone left. Anthony runs zone right, so it's a busted play.
Yep.
Mental error on the quarterback.
Remember it.
Instead of him running out of bounds, he tried to run over somebody. So now the clock is running. You're at 2nd and 14, and as a play caller, you're fine. Let's go to the half. I just blows my mind what these people think. What the problem was. There was nothing wrong with his game management at all.
Okay, well, there have been several times this year where he has had his.
Well, maybe so, but again, as a play caller, you have to trust the quarterback in certain situations.
Yeah.
We have not run good 2-minute offenses, and maybe in practice,
That's
we
right.
don't go to practice.
That's right.
Maybe he can't run a 2-minute offense.
Well, then the coaching's not good.
That's not true, buddy.
Teach him how.
Some people can't handle it, and I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying it's no different, okay? Coach Spurrier, some of his receivers could not run certain routes, so you don't call those routes. That's what good coaches do, and that's why you just said this team has been improved. Billy is doing what he does, calling plays that he can run.
Yeah.
And so there's only maybe 2 series the entire year from an offensive standpoint I have a problem with. And it's sometimes after a big punt return, which the other day we had a big punt return and we ran a deep corner route on a naked play and we hit it because I wanted to take a shot in the end zone. But I've had zero problem with his game management.
Okay. All right. I'm still going to bitch about it. I don't think it's right, though. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Okay. If the quarterback throws a pick 6, what are you going to say?
Bad throw. Should have been coached better.
You know, you should have said, damn coach shouldn't have called pass plays at that point in your second 15.
Could be. You know, I know you don't allow anybody to make any criticisms that you don't agree with. That's okay.
No. That is not true. I'm trying to educate people how coaches think. And I know how coaches think because I've been in a million meetings with these coaches. And if anybody So I can't. So people didn't even know that Anthony went the wrong way on.
I knew it.
Play. They thought a lot of people thought it was a zone read.
No, I knew it, and Sean, I think maybe or you said it on the radio.
I said it because the entire line was blocking zone left.
Yeah. See, I don't have to know it, Shane, because I can listen to you on the radio and you'll tell me.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm telling you what the coach is thinking.
Yeah. I never liked it when you take three hot timeouts in your pocket at halftime, though. Seemed like those could have been used more judiciously. Anyway, all right, we'll argue about it on your show tomorrow on your nickel. Okay?
That's fine. I have no. It's not an argument. I'm just telling you what a coach is thinking.
Yeah. Sometimes coaches
and
are
here's
right.
The other thing, we are not a great throwing team, and if you don't take risk. When it's a 3-point game at the half, you're down, was it 24-21 or whatever it was, there's no reason to risk falling farther behind when it's 2nd and 14 and stuff. Anyway, it is what it is. We won the damn football game. People should be happy.
Well, I think they are for the most part.
Okay, good.
All right, so you're not, apparently, at me.
I'm extremely happy.
You beat me up. How come you beat me up?
No, because you just said that we should have been throwing the ball when it's 2nd and 15, backed up on your own 20.
Hold on. I said I don't like a coach that takes 3 timeouts in his pockets to halftime. Okay, I'm just saying.
There's no reason to call timeouts.
Well, okay. Well, there must have been some reason. You're in the first half, and they could use those. So anyway, Shane, I love you. I'll talk to you in the morning. Have a good night. Shane Matthews, Pot Up with Matthews, every morning. All right, we'll go to the orange and blue room. I think Nick's been waiting around. He might have left. I don't know. We'll see if he's still there. And we'll play our soundbite from the coach and see what Nick thinks of it. Let's see if Nick is there. All right, Nick Del Toro. There he is.
How are you, buddy? Thanks for having me back.
Boy, it has been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Good to have you back. We got a lot to catch up on. Let's hear from Billy, all right? A little bit talking about, I think it might be your question, talking about Osiris, all right?
Torrance was named SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. He's playing at an All-American level. Was there any question in your mind, him stepping up from playing the Sun Belt to playing the SEC, would he be able to make that transition?
No question for me. I think we played a number of Power 5 opponents at the other stop. He always played really well. Guy's 6'5". He's 335 pounds. He's got 11-inch hand. He's got long arms. He's got more lean mass on his body than any player on our team. He's a big-time player, and more importantly, is he has discipline. He has character. He's tough. He's a very consistent worker. He's durable, and football comes easy to him. He processes really well. He's a good communicator. It's really been a big deal. One of the reasons we played well up front is I think his ability to translate because he had played in the system.
All right, here it is. Next question about Osiris. Certainly he's been, as Shane said earlier, every player he's brought in has been successful in this program, and certainly none more success than Osiris. And he is he's a magnificent young man and a hell of a ball player, and going to get a lot of money to play on Sundays, isn't he, Nick?
Yeah, and I didn't mean the question to paint in a negative light, but you're playing at a G5 level, and I think it's a legitimate question. Hey, how
Absolutely,
are you
it's legitimate. Yes.
How are you going to move up? And I mean, Osiris haven't had him want to shake him, and I want to be like, hey, you might be the least confident person in Osiris Torrance. Like you, I just don't think he understands what he's doing. I've said this a couple times. Offensive lineman, he's been the best player on the team.
Absolutely.
But he's played in over 2,700 college snaps and has never given up a sack. Doesn't have a penalty this year for Florida. I mean, he is this is a kid who, when we talked to him, had to be talked into playing football. Didn't want to do it.
All right,
and now
you dropped out on your audio there for a second. I want to get back to you though and tell you and tell me, give me your assessment of this game, and certainly we know coming back, being behind, winning the first time this year they've been behind at halftime. The speeches they were made at halftime, everybody's talking about them. They were inspirational. They said we're better than this, and everybody was talking about, well, they better score down here in the second quarter because the ball goes over and the kick. A&M receives, and Florida can't stop anybody. And if they don't score now, A&M may run away. What was it like? You were at the game, and what were you thinking?
Well, credit to the Texas A&M fans. I wasn't. I was shocked, really, watching that in the first half, just knowing how many guys were out for A&M. Just shocked with the defensive performance. But on the same token, you have to give them credit. And I don't know if it was scheme changes or just guys executing. Maybe guys going into the bathroom in the locker room and looking at themselves in the mirror and being like, is this to be portrayed as? And certainly they came out and, only gave up 106 yards in the second half, pitched a shutout, It would have been a totally different game. I think it was 24-20 at half. A&M gets the ball back. If they drive down and score, totally different ball game. Florida gets a 3-and-out, back-to-back 3-and-outs to start. That's the kind of defense I think they're capable of playing, and it's still not perfect. But considering you dismissed Brenton Cox 6 days before, your best defensive player in a lot of people's minds, to go out there and listen, A&M was banged up, sick, didn't have the depth, so they're going to wear down as the game goes on. But you play who's on your schedule, and you play whatever team they bring to the stadium. So Florida took care of business in that second half, and I think it was good to see. I loved the one play that I saw from Don McMillan. Would love to see him at safety more. But I think it's, you have to look at it and say Texas A&M was banged up, hurt, sick. But it's still encouraging to see Florida's defense play like that.
Bring up a good point, and that is the fact that there were several guys that stepped up. I mean, how about Jaquavion Frazier's 4 catches? We saw Princely have a big day. Douglas on the field looks really good. There's some
Texas new guys.
Yeah, and so sometimes the battlefield promotions are needed, and we saw Kyle Trask do that years ago, coming off the bench against Kentucky. Who among those new faces impressed you the most?
Well, I think let's look at the guy that replaced Brenton Cox and Antoine Powell. Powell comes out. I think he got 2 sacks. He had a forced fumble. Just a guy who was very humble talking to us today. We asked him about his play, and he says, I can improve everywhere. I'm not setting the edge enough. I'm not getting to the quarterback enough. Just to see that kind of workman mentality. Like, I had the best game of my career, but I want to talk about where I can get better and what I need to do better. Amari Burney, I think he has more interceptions than maybe Miami does. The linebacker keeps getting his hands on the ball. I think it was a really good game for a lot of guys. Princely Umamalin was the top graded guy. Have to imagine that was a big game for him, being able to go home. He told us he was running around the locker room trying to find extra tickets from teammates. Had like 30, 35 family and friends there. So for him to get the opportunity to play near his home and to have a game like that, I think that's huge. Montrell Johnson, I think he could be on the gymnastics team with his balance. He seems to bounce off a guy.
And block somebody else. He blocks 2 guys all the time.
Lose his footing after breaking a tackle, put a hand on the ground, stay in bounds, stay up, and then still run through somebody's chest after that. So I love the 1-2 punch. I've been so impressed with Trevor Etienne's vision and patience. And I think it's maybe from working and having a brother who's older, played at Clemson, now in the NFL.
That's some moves.
He does not look like a freshman in terms of
he doesn't. Waiting
for things to develop, hitting them when you see it. So he's been really impressive, and I think they found a 1-2 punch there. And obviously Anthony had a great game. He has been, I think, enjoying the villain role. When he goes on the road, even in a loss at Tennessee, had a great game.
Yeah, I'll get back to Anthony in just a minute. I want to talk about Montrell. Watching him on a seal block.
Yeah.
And watching the running back get through, and then he goes and blocks the guy downfield, the safety. I mean, he's so smart. I mean, he has football sense, and he's skilled, and Billy just raved about him today about the kind of person he was. So they sure needed him for sure. Now I don't
know what Ed Orgeron was doing. That was a great running back in New Orleans, just waiting for an offer.
Yeah. They do miss sometimes. We talk about all these 5 stars. They miss a lot of 3s and 2s. And if you played sports, Nick, and I played a little bit. I can tell you, I know some ball players that they weren't all that good when they first came on the squad, who got a whole lot better when they got there and became among the best players on the team. So sometimes it happens. But getting back to Anthony, I was doing a show Sunday morning, and some guy came on. He was a troll. Obviously, he was Miami or whatever. And talking about Anthony and Richardson, and says, "Well, you haven't got much of a quarterback. You still," I said, "It's been a long time since Florida's had a quarterback." They said, "They still don't have one." I thought, dude, where have you been? I go back to, the long way back. Don't sit here and tell me about Florida quarterbacks. You want to talk about 1960s? I've seen every quarterback that Florida has ever fielded. Now, does that make me an expert? No, but I at least have seen them. And I know that there was a dearth of quarterbacks that couldn't get it right. I mean, Greer had 10 minutes. He could have been maybe something special. Until Trask came along, they couldn't get a quarterback. You're not going to win today without a quarterback. And you get a guy like that. I've heard all the people say you can't read defense, blah, 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 blah. I said, just put in your mind that clip of Anthony Richardson, 6'3.5", 240, running down the field like a deer and outrunning everybody on a 60-yard attack. How many times are you going to see that anywhere? You better put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's what I feel like. So talk to me about Anthony.
That was a flag football touchdown. Even if we were playing flag, no one got close enough. Yeah. I think I've been very high on Anthony since the offseason. And I get the fans' frustration because he has so much potential. And when he does stuff, you're like, you see it. You get glimpses of it when he has those runs, when he throws, just an absolutely perfect ball. I think that was to Frazier's great catch for a touchdown. And then he goes through these, at times it was even whole games where he just doesn't, he looks like a different player. So I get the frustration. But you have to remember, it's first-year starter, new coach, new system. It's all new for him. And I don't know if he'll be back because a lot of fans are like, what do you mean? You're crazy. He's going to go to the NFL. His stock is only going to rise when he gets into, the NFL draft prep. He's 6'4", 240. He's going to run a sub 4.4. Like, his stock is only going to rise. So I don't know if he'll be back, but if he is able, or if he does return to Florida next year, the Gators could be a problem because as he continues to develop as a passer, Anthony Richardson, even now, gives Florida a chance to win anytime he's on the field on any Saturday or Friday if it's, FSU.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick. I'm glad you finally said that. Because, people say, well, he's not that good a quarterback. Ask the players. Ask Montrell. There's his quote today. We need him back. Now, look, economically it makes no sense. But suspend that just for a moment, the practicality of $30 million or whatever it's going to be, and say, okay, Anthony is a Gainesville kid, all right? He's home in his own bed, all right? He's the man about town. He seems to enjoy the role. He's really done a nice job of learning to greet the kids and sign autographs. He's really done a really good job. And he's going to make his money. The only reason he wouldn't is if he got hurt. So if he said, you know what, I got a good club this year. We got 4 more really good receivers on the team. We helped ourselves on defense. This team looking at a possible run at a national, at least an Easter, maybe give Georgia a good game or maybe win. What if? And you say, okay, how about the injury? Well, don't they have NIL deals today? See what Lloyd's of London would give you on odds of getting a $30 million contract for Anthony Richardson. NIL deal could make that. And that's what it cost you, $5 million. All right? So he comes back, and if he doesn't play and gets hurt, he gets $30 million in his pocket, right? You're going to get hurt. Doesn't matter where you go, you're going to get hurt. And you're not going to make the field for a couple of years in the NFL. So having said that, I get it. It's far-fetched, but I'm just saying, Nick, that's got possibilities.
Yeah, I think if you're getting a first-round grade, it doesn't make much sense to come back. And I look at the way players, quarterbacks specifically, are treated when they come back. Like, think about the microscope that Tim Tebow was under by the draft analysts and pundits his senior year. Every tiny mistake you make gets blown up, and they start knocking you for this and for that. If I were him and I got a first round grade, I would go. And I'd imagine an NFL team like Timmy said, I don't need all 32 teams to like me. I just need one.
Yeah, that's right. Only takes one to fall in love. Yeah.
But as a writer who covers and watches a lot of Florida, would love to see Anthony Richardson back next season.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, you cover everything at Florida, talking about that. I don't know what the basketball score is now. I know halftime was 38-22, Stony Brook. Just what I wanted to hear. Castleton is even having a nice night. We're trying to get friends on before we go off the air tonight and see basketball. Could be good. There's the fresh energy around Golden. These players are making there seems to be a likable bunch. I think they're going to be fun to watch. They like to score. We won't have to go through those 5-minute, 6-minute droughts of Mike White's offense. Whatever. What is your thought about the basketball program? Then I want to talk to you about baseball.
Yeah, I think they went final. Florida won 81-45. Stony Brook was a little hurt. I like Todd Golden a lot. I like his staff. It's almost like a brand new team, and the transfer portal is changing all college sports, but with basketball having smaller rosters, probably even more noticeable on the court than a football field. And it'll be interesting to see how they play. The players love him. The fans are behind Todd Golden. And were you able to get enough in the portal after your early assessment to be able to run the style that you want to run? Because I think Mike White came in and said they wanted to be up-tempo, run the floor, up and down, and then just never was able to get the guys to make him feel comfortable to do that. But I think it's nice, at least from my standpoint, dealing with fans a lot, just to have positivity around the program, because it had been pretty negative for 3-4 years around basketball.
Well, yeah, and so now baseball. They had a couple of games, and Sully's got some good players. You cover a lot of baseball. What are you hearing out there?
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed this Sunday doubleheader, but I was up in Jacksonville to see the Georgia game. I've been to more than a handful of scrimmages in the fall, and I am trying to not overhype this team, which I think will be a top 5 team preseason. And
wait! You just said you want to overhype it, and you say it's a top 5 team.
Well, I think when the rankings come out, they'll be top 5.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be very good on the weekend on the mound before Brandon Sproat came back and before Hurston Waldrip transferred from Southern Miss. So they're even better there. Hurston Waldrip, by the way, threw an immaculate inning against Stetson. For anyone listening that doesn't know what that is, that's 3 strikeouts, 9 pitches. Florida has that factory that Sully has somewhere on campus that just spits out guys who throw 95. It was up and running in the offseason. The arms they have, they're so deep. They've got freshmen throwing 95, 98. Jack Caglianone, who fans got to see towards the end of the season as a DH, the 6'4", 240-pound lefty that wasn't pitching last year because of Tommy John. I've seen him hit 100 this year on the mound. And then they're super deep in the infield. Right now, you've got 2 infielders missing. Derek Fabian, who was hit with a pitch in the face during a scrimmage, and Colby Halter, who has a broken pinky. And you couldn't tell because they have so much depth with Josh Rivera coming back and some of the other infielders. Florida's going to be really, really good, and they're old in some places, young in some places, but I think they have a good mix of veterans who have been through some SEC battles and some young guys who can step up and once they get their feet wet and get comfortable, will be contributors. But they're going to be fun to watch this year.
For sure. All right. Tell folks about On 3 and recruiting and all this. I know you don't get into it, recruiting much anymore. There are still a couple of guys on the board which are of interest to Florida, quite a few. This is so key for Billy. And I also got your rankings from. You went through the defensive rankings, I believe. I've copied that down for Twitter. Let's talk about recruiting. Who out there still the Florida really need to press on?
Well, you really need to, like Billy said it, you really need to lock up your class, because right now Florida has a great class. Even without getting Cormani McClain, Florida still has the number 9 class, and they have an incredible defensive back class. You've got some really big guys in the class, like Kelby Collins, who is a defensive lineman, really impressive. Aiden Mizell, a receiver from down in Orlando. It's a really strong class, 22 commits right now, and I think there's going to be double-digit guys from this class early enrolling, which is now becoming. I remember when it was unheard of. It was weird, and now you're going to have more than half of your signing class, on campus for spring practice. The only thing I was joking with Corey Bender, who does our recruiting today. It's like fans are going to be upset in February because Florida's class, I think. The recruiting class and the signing portal, or the transfer portal, which will officially open up December 5th, I think they're going to be set before February, and it might not be the fireworks show you want on February or in February. But I like Florida's class. I think they hit a bunch of needs, specifically replenishing the secondary and along the defensive line. I think you'd like to have a couple more offensive linemen, but when you miss on some of the guys, or some of the top tier guys go elsewhere, I don't think you need to settle and just throw out an offer because, hey, we need to have 5 or 6 in this class. So I like Florida's class. There's a long way till that early signing period, and I think we almost need to stop calling the early signing period, stop calling it early. Like that, I think that one is now like signing day because everyone tries to get it done and get it over with.
Yeah.
But I like Florida's class. It's going to be a busy transfer portal season, both in and out for Florida.
2 big ones, Keon Keeley and Desmond Ricks. Big guys that got to sign. We're wrapping up, getting down to the end of the night. You had your numbers on defense. They're slightly better. The defense is total 114th, 110th in rush, passing 100th, scoring 90th, sacks 94. And then on down to I guess I can't read this. What's FR? I don't even know.
Fumble recoveries.
Okay, and then EINT, the 49th for interceptions. So anyway, so that's that. All right, Nick, tell them about On 3 and how they can reach you and how to get in touch with it. And it's just a terrific job. We've got 3 really good writers and reporters and really good recruiting news, Nick. And we always like reading your stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Gators Online, part of the On 3 network. Myself, Corey Bender does recruiting for us, and Zach Albaverdi. He's at the O-Dome now, probably waiting to talk to Todd or some of the players. We're about coming up on a year, buddy. December 1st will be our 1-year anniversary of launching the site. So we're excited, and there's definitely no better place to get Gator baseball coverage. But we do everything: recruiting, basketball, baseball, and we take care of making sure we put the women's sports, softball, women's basketball got a win tonight. We put all that stuff on the message board, and just trying to build a good community over there of Gator fans that like hearing news, scoop, recruiting information, and whatever we can bring you.
Very well, sir. Nick Del Torre from On 3 Sports, and love having you on, Nick. Hope you'll come back soon.
Of course, buddy, whenever you need me.
All right, my man. Okay, here's a basketball final. You heard Nick talking about it. It is the final score is 81-45. Alex Fudge, a name you'll be hearing a lot about. Some fun with the Fudge. 16. So I don't have the whole box score. They'll give you what you need to know there. I want to say, tell you folks about our good friends over at Renstar Medical. They are staunch members of our community who have supported this program for a long, long time. And, of course, they're good stakeholders in the community. They do great things. And if you want someone to be interested in your health that might be able to help you, look no further than Renstar. Renstar, over the years, has been a great caretaker of our community. And they have a high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility to bring cutting-edge clinical research trials to Ocala in areas like Alzheimer's, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraine, and fibromyalgia, along with many other things that affect our communities right here. So go on and you can be a part of these clinical trials if you contact them, let them know you're interested and qualify. You can go to redstar.net, find out more about what they do. They participate in more than 700 clinical research trials and continue to partner with prominent pharmaceutical and biomedical companies throughout the medical industry. Red Star Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Thanks to our guest tonight, Shane. Don't forget tomorrow morning I'll join Shay on the show, Pot Up with Matthews. And thanks to Nick Delatorre. We'll have Franz back tomorrow, along with David Whitley and others. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Good night, all.